Good afternoon, lovely people. Welcome back to another video. This week is a special week. You might have recognized my background. We are in Girona and it's the most busy with bikers you will ever see this week because it's the Traka week. I'll be lining up on the Traka 360, a 10-hour plus race, and I'll be racing the newly released Guava Ace. So stay tuned to see more. So I've been living in this town for the last 5 years. Lovely town in general. Like, you got all your friends close, they're all within walking distance. So basically everyone is your neighbor here in Barry Valley. The riding is great. You got all the gravel you need. So all my endurance ride I did them on gravel. And the Traka has been on my long list actually. I always wanted to race this one. Normally in my season I've just came out of the Hill Classics and a busy start of the year. So I never was really too keen on riding the Traka or even asking a team if I could do it because I was just super tired. This year, obviously, it's different and I can race the Traka and I'm excited about it. It's the 360 I've signed up for. So yeah, I'm excited to give this whole thing a go and see how we do. On the Guava Ace is the new bike I will be riding. And it's going to be a good test. Like I will have enough case to get a good understanding for this bike. So we're starting the video with a survey that I'm taking at the Guava shop and a body scan. Guava is working together with this app called Skim, and you enter some data, and with that they can estimate your bike size and stem length. So that's what I'm doing here. So because they sell to consumers directly, this is their way to get you on the right size bike.
Back pain, knee pain, neck pain. No, nothing. No pain.
So we are T-minus 1 day for the Traka 360. It's been raining a lot this morning. That means the parker is going to be super fast tomorrow morning. So yeah, I've been riding with the Guava this week. I'll tell you a little bit more about the company Guava itself. It's basically two friends who started this company and they just love bike riding. And they are bike riders first and foremost. Next to that, they decided that everything they love about riding comes together in gravel. That's why the decision to only make gravel bikes. And yeah, it's a young company. They do all of their designing themselves as they have 25 years of experience in the bike industry already. So they do all the product testing and the development themselves, or they have multiple riders who are professional gravel athletes. And for their new frame, the Ace, they got a lot of input from them as well. So the bike I have been riding around this week, the Spot, is their old bike. It's a bike meant to do it all. It has a lot of attachment points for bars, bags. As you can see, the geometry is also not an extreme race geometry, and the handlebars are cool. They're a little bit too wide for me. And also I feel not too comfortable on the bike, mainly because of that. So yeah, I chose to go for the new one, although I can only ride it for an hour or two. It's a bit risky, but we'll see tomorrow how it goes. I've been giving this bike because it has been a bit of a stressful moment for the guys at Guava. They wanted to release the bike obviously before the Traka, which is the Tour de France in the gravel scene. And of course, you want to release the bike just before that. It all happened just in time, and I'm gonna pick up the new bike today. Well, like I just said, the race starts tomorrow, but the new bike is definitely gonna be a lot better than this bike. Here, there's a couple of other little defects on this bike that won't make it a perfect race machine for the Traka 360. So, a bit risky, but I'm all here for it. Gonna clean this one up and go to the house of Guava. Switch it up, and yeah, we'll test the bike out, get my measurements right, and then we're ready to roll for 11 hours or less or more. We'll see tomorrow. So we just arrived at the Guava house where all the journalists, my colleagues, well, I'd like to say them my colleagues, but I don't know what I am. I'm an athlete, I'm a YouTuber, I'm a journalist, I'm an influencer, I don't know. Anyway, my old bike is here. I'm gonna switch it up for one of these beautiful new Guava Ace bikes. At the moment, Nacho, the mechanic of the brand, is getting my bike ready, while all the other journalists are having a little lunch inside. Yeah, the bike's looking good. This is not my size. I'm really keen to test it out and see what it's all about. This is Nacho.
Hi guys.
Nacho is one of the owners of Guava, and he's
Well, studies, I'm an engineer. I'm an industrial engineer, and so in Guava, I'm in charge of all products, and we design the bikes here from scratch ourselves. So it's all our own mold, and that's basically all I do at Guava, apart from, as you see, doing all the mechanics.
you guys use this. It looks like a integrated bar, but actually it's not. So at the moment you're changing my bars to a 100 stem instead of a 80.
Yeah, exactly. It's looks like an integrated one-piece bar, but it's actually a two-piece. Allows you to change the stem length.
That's super cool design, and that's coming mainly from you.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're just switching
Slid it
from
in.
80 millimeters stem to 100 millimeter stem for more of a aggressive position.
By the way, guys, this is gonna be my rig for tomorrow. It's an absolutely beautiful machine. Of course, more about it later. But for now, everything is a little bit last minute, and I'm gonna be riding it this afternoon. Tomorrow, it's go time on this purple lavender. What's the color scheme called?
Lavender. Yeah.
Still a couple of adjustments to do. Beautiful bike, absolute beast. I'm really happy I made the decision to go for the new one instead of the old. Position feels a lot better already. It's a better fit than the other one. Couple things to change. I've got this specialized saddle that I'm going to be using. Adds a lot of comfort. I'm going to go with road pedals because my mountain bike shoes broke out of nowhere. I think we all know what shoes I'm talking about. And then I'm going to change the 42 to a 46. Luckily I have some great friends here in Girona. Thank you Nathan, thank you Didi. They're going to help me change it up. They have the stuff laying at home. So for now, get my numbers, get this bike checked, because they need to check the lights or something. And then, yeah, it's a couple of hours before relaxing and going to bed, as it's already 2:30 or 3 p.m. Oh yeah, let's show you my gear, what I'm going to be using tomorrow as well. We've got the BBB helmet, the BBB Karma, and some glasses from them as well. Yes, I will be using glasses. I don't want to get hit in the face by a rock tomorrow. Then team kit from R&R, beautiful kit. Fits lovely. I really enjoyed riding this in the States. It was so much fun going to do Redlands with them. Then up here we have the tools, Dyna plugs, the small and the big ones, some CO2 patterns and a little multi-tool. Food-wise, I'm going with Morden. They're the sponsor of R&R, so that helped me a lot. Thank you. All these sachets have 80 grams of carbs inside of them, so that's 10 of them, which is 800. Some Haribos to keep me happy during the day. I'm going to be starting with 2 big bottles and a bladder of 1.5 liter. First feed zone, second feed zone, and third feed zone. That's it. Wish me luck. Unfortunately, the rules have been very clear and you cannot film during the race. So I won't be taking my little cam into a race. I maybe could have done it, but I think I'm gonna behave for once and just follow the rules. Wish me luck for now. That's it. Yeah, still a couple things to do today. And then I'll go to bed early as the start is at 6. So wake up time is gonna be like 3 o'clock. I guess, to get some breakfast in. What the fuck did I sign up for? All right, that's it for now. Ciao, ciao. So we are at the start of the Traka 360. Only 12 minutes and 25 seconds to go. I can start here with the big boys. The bike's ready. I am ready. Kit is ready. Got a big bladder with me. Carbs. I've only got a couple of gels. More food in here. The bike ride's amazing. My little spin from yesterday was enough to get me dialed in. I feel really at home on this bike already. So I'm really excited. I'm a bit nervous. I think they're lining up now, so I'm better get going.
Up. Hey. hop, 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 hop. Er ligt er al één voor, hè. Hop, 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 hop. Goedemorgen.
Hello guys. We got some sweet donkeys during a little gravel ride I'm doing. I'm still only doing recovery rides. Got the blue bike now just since a couple of days and I've been riding it around to get a bit more feeling of the bike. I still owe you guys a little race story. So the day started early as hell, 3 o'clock. And I was like, wow, what are we doing? I took some breakfast and then I went back to sleep for 1.5 hours because I'm not far from the start and I was like, I'd rather have breakfast early in my belly than go wake up at like 4:15 to have breakfast and then only have like a small 2 hours for the breakfast to be digested. Anyway, the race started. I got influenced by my dad a little bit because normally he's on the same saddle height as me. And he lowered my saddle and I was like, yeah, do it, because I also felt a little bit high. But then during the race I was like, no, this doesn't feel good. So after the first climbing section, I was still with the first 25. Yeah, I decided to lower my saddle and a couple minutes too much in the red. I was pushing 400 to catch back to the peloton. And I definitely didn't want to be alone at this point of the race yet with 250k to go. Made some other rookie mistakes, spilled a lot of energy. And 3.5 hours in, I was looking down on my power meter. I was like seeing 320 normalized. I was, uh-oh, this day isn't gonna end well. A little bit later, a group rode away of 10 and the main peloton just like stopped fully and they got 5 minutes within no time. So I had a bit of time to recover there. And then after the first feed zone, 115k in, the pace really started to go. And the climbing section started up north of the course. I did well. I stayed with the first group for a while and then I just had to let go because the pace was too high and I'm not training seriously anymore, so I couldn't keep up. I actually had a flat, so I CO2'd and then plugged it in the last downhill of the northern climbing section. I was alone for a while and then the group catched me, which I did the rest of the race with basically. Lachlan Morton was in this group, so I didn't do too bad. I finished 17th. With just 1 hour on the bike. Not too bad at all. Like, all these guys are preparing months for this race. It's the biggest gravel race in Europe. So I was pretty happy with the result and I had fun racing. My belly didn't like all the gels and the drink mixes too much the last couple hours. But I heard from so many guys that had this problem. Like, I'm not used to racing 10 or 11 hours. Finally did it in 10 hours and 29. So I think I can be proud of it. So it's the week after the Traka. I'm still trying to recover a little bit. The town is already getting ready for its next big event, the Flower Festival. It's going to be even more busy than the Traka week, just not with bike riders, but people enjoying the city and looking at pretty flowers. At the moment, I'm going to be picking up another Guava bike because unfortunately there's another bike waiting for me and I wanted to show you as well the shop of Guava, which is just around the corner in there. So this is the Guava shop. They've got all their pretty bikes lined up here. Some cool kit. And then we've got Louisa, the shop manager. So come say hi if you're in Girona. So I'm gonna be taking this bike home to have the rest of the video shooted on. It's the same size, it's the same bike, so that's all good. Thanks Louisa for everything.
Yeah, come visit us.
Yeah, have a look. It's a cool shop. So I've just finished another good training ride on my bike. I think this one needs some help. Come on. Watch it, boy. 1, 2. Good boy. Like I said, just finished another good ride. A couple hours extra in to feel what the bike's about on a bit more relaxed pace. Before we get into all the technical details of the bike and all the specs and whatnot. Let me introduce you to someone. He's the king of Guava. Just finished 4th in the Traka 360 2026. We've been teammates for a day, Canadian champ. Give it up for Benjamin Perry! He rides this beautiful Canadian colored painting scheme. Ben has also been helping the guys of Guava to get this bike into a race machine. The other bike, the Spot, was maybe more...
It was a bit more comfortable. It was a bit more like a tourist sort of bike. It had like not that much chainring clearance was an issue. It had less tire clearance, but gravel's been evolving so quickly. So I kind of have been influencing Guava a bit to push the limits of what we can do with tire clearance, chainring clearance, making the bike a little bit lighter. And yeah, it's a bit more racy.
Exactly, that's also what I felt. I've ridden a couple days on the Spot before I got the Ace under my ass, and man, it was a big difference. So I'm actually pretty impressed that you've been racing the last couple of years on the Spot. But you can see now you'll be winning anything on this bike. No worries about it.
It was a good upgrade. The old bike was good, the Spot was still good, but it's a bit more just for enjoying nice long easy rides, traveling the world. This bike you can still do that obviously, but it's got a bit more there's no limits for the racing needs.
So Ben, you've also been helping the guys figure out the handlebar position a little bit. We've been talking about it before. It looks like it has quite a big reach. Is that also true, or is it just the loops of it?
It's a reach of 75 and a drop of 105. So it's kind of like a standard road bar, but I would say that's on the long side for a gravel bar. Yeah, I guess the biggest things is I really wanted a position where there was a bit of a slope here, as you can see, and then it tilts up. So when you're on like descending, your hand's kind of in a normal position. A lot of bikes when I have this really flat, I find your hand is really cranked like this, but it's nicer to have your hand sort of normal position. And the same principle here. Some bars go really straight down, like a big hook like this, where this is a bit more level, like a classic style handlebar. So you're more like this on the brake and less like this on the brake, you know what I mean? And then they've done a good job of designing this.
And it's been working great. It survived the Traka 360 by both of us without any issues. So that means
that's what I was most
well
nervous
tested.
about. Yeah, I was like, well, if I can just rip it up on descents and stuff, and the mount doesn't break and the handlebars don't come loose, it's going to be fine. And yeah, I mean, if I can do Traka, we can both do the Traka 360 and not have any issue.
All right.
Thanks, Ida.
Thanks for being in the vid. It's been a pleasure. It's been also a pleasure racing with you. We've been teammates for a day, so it was fun.
Dap it up,
buddy.
bro. Dap it up.
All right, enough bike riding for now. Let's talk a little bit more about the ins and outs about the bike. We'll start on top. The handlebars, like we discussed with Ben, it's a two-piece cockpit with different stem lengths. I will show in a bit how to take them apart. It has a small flare of only 16 degrees, but it does give you a little bit extra control on the downhills in the drop, so that's always nice. I used the Tavelo ones which flared extremely. I was a big fan of that, but this feels a bit more like a road handlebar than the extreme Tavelo setup. It still works great. Then to go on about the top part of the bike, we have this integrated carbon bike computer holder, 2 bolts for your top tube back. All the bolts on the bike are titanium, so that's pretty dope. It is 200 to 300 grams lighter than the frame before. The total bike weighs around 8.4 kilos in this setup. With the SRAM Red, it weighs less than 8.2, so that's not bad at all for a gravel bike. I cannot weigh this bike itself because this is like still half of a prototype bike and it has a bit of a heavier setup here and there carbon wise, so I won't be weighing this bike. But yeah, you gotta take that from the guys from Guava. Ben's setup before in the race was 7.95 with 45mm tires. And yeah, he did some upgrades with a Garbrooke cassette, and I think he also had a Garbrooke crankset and chainring. So that made it a little bit lighter, I guess. It has a round seat post. This looks like 27.2 with you go in here with an inbus. That works fine, and there hasn't been no slippage of the seat post. Of course, space for 2 bottle cages. There's only one on this bike. They designed these bottle cages themselves as well. For the race, I mounted my BBB hollow cage because I am 100% sure no bottle will ever drop from that. Ben has been riding these, and also for him there have not been any bottle drops, so they're rigid enough to go to the extreme. Super cool handlebar bar tape from Guava themselves. Then let's go on to the wheel set. It's a set from Volte, which is like a brother brand of Guava. 29 internal, 38 deep. They come with all the bikes they sell, so it's a good wheel set. They're handmade, hand spoked with SEPIM spokes. The hubs are up themselves as well. Then tire clearance, of course, the most important nowadays on gravel bikes. There is 50 mil tires on these at the moment. They measure like 51, and as you can see there is plenty of room for bigger. So 54 is the maximum tire clearance stated by the brand. Also in the back it stated 54s. These measure like 52, and as you can see there's more than enough tire clearance for a bit bigger. So that's great, because comfort and tire clearance is a big thing in gravel these days. I think what's pretty cool as well is that they made space for a front derailleur if you want it, if you're not a big fan of the one-by setups, like almost any gravel bikes are being sold with nowadays. There's still the option to go for a front derailleur. It's UDH ready. This is a GRX group set, so they don't use UDH, but for all the SRAM XPLR, this frame is ready for it. I do really like the shapes of the frame. The fork is pretty cool. It has like, I don't know if you can see it that well in this lighting, but it has these sharp lines in the fork, and all the sharp lines, they keep continuing all over the frame. There's no real aero tubing, but I've been discussing this subject with some friends who are gravel pros up here in Girona, and all of them say the same. Like 95% of the races, aero frames in gravel are complete bullshit. Aero basically only does its jobs from 40k an hour, and there's not that often that you have average of more than 40k an hour in gravel. So you rather have a light and nice handling bike with maybe some shapes that are better for comfort, or you have like a full stiff aero racer that will get you this 1% faster on a super quick road. Of course, it's a marketing trick, and brands always need to sell bikes. Nowadays it's aero on gravel, and we all got to deal with it. So as promised, I'd show you how the bars look like when they are loose. So here we are, 3 big bolts, and then up here we've got the 2-piece of the cockpit, loose hanging bars. They look like this. The bolts go in there. Let's try and get this on with one hand. There we go. And you just push it back, and it fits like that. So you can see this little square hole. It's where the bike computer goes into. Let me show you how it's done. So the bars are still open at the moment, and you'll just wedge this one in, like so. You tighten the bolts, chuck, and this one will stay at peace. It's a very cool system. I've never seen it before, and I kind of like it. It also makes the work of a mechanic so much easier. It just takes the pain in the ass away of integrated handlebars, but it still has the looks of it. So let's talk a little bit about the ride feel of this bike. In terms of geometry, they chose for a quite standard geometry, so there's nothing out of the ordinary for a gravel bike. They chose for a 71-degree head tube angle, which is giving a quite stable feel. On the road you often see somewhere between 72 and 74, and on gravel it's a little bit lower, around 72. So yeah, it's a stable bike. On high speed you really feel safe on the thing. Like, I've bombed some downhills in the race, and I've never felt like unstable or that the bike is really nervous or twitchy. Like, the thing goes downhill well, but still corners well, like 71 with a normal wheelbase of, I think it was 1030 millimeters. Obviously with the big tires you're little bit further above the ground than on the road, so you feel that. but generally speaking, I really enjoyed riding the bike. The stiffness is insane. Like it's a really stiff bike. If you're riding on the road with a little bit of pumped up tires, you can absolutely feel that every pedal stroke you're hitting is going straight into the ground. With that said, I wouldn't say it's the comfiest bike I've ever ridden. So the comfort has to come out of the tires. Luckily, they can fit 54. If you don't pump them up too much, they will give you all the comfort you need. I might have liked a little bit more on the long ride, so something in the seat post, or maybe it was my own fault and I should have double wrapped the bar tape. But yeah, my wrist and my back was definitely hurting after the ride. Also, I just had an hour to get everything right. So it's also not so strange that I didn't feel extremely comfortable on the bike. But Ben has been riding this thing and he's been saying basically the opposite, and he's been impressed by the comfort of it. So yeah, it's a bit in the middle. I'm at least happy that they fit the big tires, because in that way you can just get the 1.5 bar in and you have all the comfort coming out of your tires. All in all, the bike is handling great. The bike is stiff. It is light. So it's a proper race bike. I wouldn't say this is your go-to adventure bike, but I mean, they are not promoting it like that. They make all the bikes on order, so you have all these funky colors to choose from. Basically, I love them all. So they paint them in Barcelona. They get the bikes unpainted and just in frames. They'll do the paint job themselves, and then they build them up for every order specifically. It has like a 2-week delivery date, so the bike won't be there the next morning on your doorstep, but you have to have a little bit of patience. You can choose your own size, stem length, handlebar width, crank length, etc. If you remember, at the start of the video I did something with Skim, which is like finding your perfect size. They scan your body and then they will tell you what they think you should be riding. So let's have a little look what they think that I will be riding. So when I had the bike just before the Traka, this side wasn't working properly yet. But now it is, and I used a medium with 100 mm stem length. Well, it's exactly what the Skim app is saying, so that's pretty cool. I did use a 400 mm handlebar width. This is also personal preference, obviously. Crank length I use 172.5, but they are saying that I should use 165. I don't have that short legs, but the most important two things is of course the medium and the 100 stem length, so that's pretty cool. What I did notice is the big difference in price. The same bike, SRAM Red versus SRAM Force, is a 3,000 euro difference, and also the rest of the bike stays the same. So if you haven't seen their lounging video, definitely go have a look, because it's a super cool vid. I really enjoy watching this. They're selling the bike as a fun bike, as a cool bike. They're selling also most bikes in their local community here in Catalonia, but they are not promoting the bike like, oh yeah, we have 54 millimeters and it's 200 grams lighter as our other one. They're selling the bike just because it looks cool, it's fun to ride, and it's definitely fast to ride as well. I mean, Ben finished 4th, I finished 17th myself, and it's a good bike. So I decided to give a little rating to all the bikes that I'm going to be using. So starting with this one, a couple subjects are stiffness, handling and comfort, of course, but then also I'll be going over the brand quality, in my opinion, how I perceive the company, what I think they do cool, if they add anything to the cycling community, do they sponsor a team or riders, or do they just produce nice quality frames for a good price. Another one is adjustability / uniqueness, and the last one will be quality price ratio. So stiffness, every watt that you put in this bike comes out of it, so I'll give that a 9 out of 10. The bike felt really stiff. Also the bars, the bike did everything that you wanted it to do. It wasn't nervous, it felt stable, but the cornering felt really smooth as well. So I'll go for a 8.5 out of 10. Comfort, because the bike was so stiff and there hasn't been a lot of thoughtful things to add on comfort. All the comfort was just coming out of the tires. I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. The brand quality, I'll give that a 9 out of 10. I think the brand is super cool. I feel also like All the people riding on Guava feel really proud that they ride on Guava. It's a brand that is making local community, and they host a lot of social rides, and of course they sponsor some riders in gravel. And I feel like they're really trying to leave their mark, even though they're a small brand. Over to adjustability/uniqueness, I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. I love all the color options and that they paint it for every order they get. But then I only give it a 7.5 out of 10 because the stem hops in 20mm gaps. So quality price ratio, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I think for €7,000 with the Force group set, you get a beautiful bike with carbon wheel set, a really good quality group set. So that's it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm gonna go to Scotland. I was supposed to test some other equipment from Voice Velo, their newly released wheel set with bird spokes. Unfortunately it got stuck in customs, their frame as well. So I won't be testing it up there. But definitely keep an eye out on other equipment testing coming up.